Yeah, limited. Because you get Wi-Fi based on like data on the SIM card.
Right.
So they don't have like wireless, like, do you get what I mean? It's just
Wait, so it's all pay like
people.
pay to
Last time I was there,
Well, when were we there?
5 years ago, it was only like
Do me a
SIM,
favor,
in SIM cards.
talk towards the mic.
In SIM cards. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. I can hear you, but it'll pick up a little funny. So like, hold on. If we move this setup around slightly, and I sit here. Is that right? Move these out of the way. That way we can look at each other and talk, right?
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, this works.
Better?
Yeah. Okay, I'll move a bit closer, but yeah, it works.
We are recording, so whenever you good to start?
Yeah, I'm good to start. To start.
Welcome back to another episode of I Will Name This Podcast Later. Peter, it's good to have you on here, bud.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to talk about today and kind of just diving into your life a little.
Yeah, I mean, my life's a bit of a mess at the moment,
Tell
but
me
we
about
move.
it. Tell me about your life at the moment. I know what it's like, but like let's break it down. So where were you 3 years ago? Like, when did you start your undergrad? 4 years ago.
I started in like late 2015.
Late 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I did geography. So I started on physical geography, but the problem was I did that because I was trying to think like way too far ahead.
Right.
Like I didn't go for what I thought I'd enjoy as opposed to what I thought I'd need. So you know how Nigeria's got like a massive oil industry.
Okay.
I thought if I did something along the lines of geology or physical geography, it'd get me into a good job if I went back to Nigeria to work. You know, that was my thought process. But in second year, I realized I freaking hated it. I could not stand it.
Did you drop? I actually don't know this. Did you drop it? I didn't even know you did physical geography.
Yeah.
Was it geography or was it physical geography?
So,
like two different things.
Like in geography is divided in between human and physical. So you get to pick either, or there's people who did like GPIR, so it's geography, politics, and international relations. But most people were either human or physical.
Right.
And in first year you do both.
Okay.
Yeah. But in second year you get to go into either human or physical and not deal with the other aspect of geography.
Understood.
So I went into physical just because I was like, you know what, fuck it, I did well in first year and all that, but I wasn't really feeling it. But I stuck, at the start I was like, I'll stick with it. But I think I realised pretty early into second year that this was not for me. Like I'm talking about 2 weeks into lectures.
2 weeks?
Yeah. But
you enjoyed what? Did you enjoy first year?
I enjoyed first year.
But was that because of like the uni buzz that you have? Because I know that my first year I enjoyed, and going into my second year I kind of came to a clarity of I'm not enjoying this, but I'm going to power through it based off of my previous experiences where I'd always just given up, and I thought that was the right decision to make, and it wasn't. And so I went down the kind of the rabbit hole that is getting consumed with yourself and, you know, just losing your mind and whatever. But did you enjoy it because of the drinking?
In first year?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, like, I did go, obviously, like everyone else, I went ham in first year.
Everyone tried to go ham in first year. You just ended up killing yourself.
Yeah.
I ended up with tonsillitis like twice.
Constantly.
Alcohol poisoning.
Constantly. Like I don't think there was any point in first year where I felt like my body felt like it was not recovering from a hit. Like I was going out constantly.
Were you doing sport as well?
Yeah, I played on Wednesdays and Saturdays for the twos in first year. And
you
then
played for the twos in first year?
Yeah, and then I trained. Obviously, we trained on Mondays and Fridays.
So you're doing 4 days of sport?
4 days, and then I also did 7-a-side social league as well.
On a Sunday?
On a Sunday and on a Thursday.
Jesus,
so
man.
I
No wonder you have so many injuries now.
So the only day I didn't play football realistically was on Tuesday night. Every other day was accounted for.
Was Tuesday ever going out there? Yeah, Tuesday was a going. No,
it only became one when pack was but before that it wasn't. So I got like my rest for the week on Tuesday. Woke up on Wednesday. Wednesday was such a good day. Like I do everything I needed to do like work wise most of the time on like Tuesday. Then I used to really love Wednesdays because it was SU and football, two of the best things combined. Like at uni, like in first year, I was like, fuck.
I remember Steph used to come back, and he used to come back like a couple hours before prees on when we were in our first year.
Yeah.
And he'd like finish off some work. Literally, we're talking hours before pre starts.
Really?
And he'd be preing, or he'd be getting ready to pre, and he'd still be in his football gear. And we're all there, kind of all dressed up, ready to go, start drinking. He starts drinking, jumps in the shower, changes, comes out, and he's like 10, 15 minutes into pre's when you guys would arrive, the football lot would arrive. And he'd just go ham up from there. Oh man, that was so fun.
Yeah, it's a skill, isn't it?
Honestly, it's a skill.
Like,
I could never do that.
These lot will tell you, like Ali and these lot, Shamaki, they'll tell you, like in first year, because obviously I didn't drink any time before 18. I wasn't.
Really?
I only got drunk once before I turned 18.
Tell me about that.
So it was.
We can share experiences. Mine was pretty bad.
This was when we were living in Switzerland.
Okay.
It was during my gap year, so I took a gap year between school and uni.
Did you?
Yeah. So I finished.
Wait, you took a gap year between school and uni?
Yeah, I finished at 16.
Okay,
Then
right, I got you.
I got a Holloway spot at 16 as well, but then
You got a Holloway spot at 16?
yeah, but then it was gonna be too young for me to come at 16. I would have been turning 17 into first term.
So you finished school at 16, like A levels, the equivalent.
Well, I did the Irish leaving cert.
What's
So,
that?
Ireland, Republic of Ireland.
I really don't know you. Who is this person? Who are you? Huh?
These are. I mean, if you ask, I'll tell, but it's not like I'll just say it. I'll just say it like that.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Go on. So you hadn't had any. So Switzerland, sorry.
So yeah, I used to go back to Switzerland for holidays and stuff. You know,
Okay.
like, but term time I'd be in Ireland. So I finished off in Ireland. I had applied to a bunch of unis in the UK. I think I applied to Manchester. I think I applied to Nottingham. I think UCL as well. And what was the last one? It was some random uni like Plymouth, I think.
Plymouth.
I think it was just like a shot in the dark. I don't know why I did that.
He just it was dumb.
So it's like whatever, just put that down. So I did my leaving cert. I flopped. I didn't get the result I wanted to get.
Okay.
So I think I could have still gone into, I think it was in Manchester, but at the time I was 16 and I needed a legal guardian to be the middleman between me and the university. I couldn't deal with them directly.
I got you.
So it was meant to be my dad. My dad was living here at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was living in Ilford, I think. So it was meant to be my dad. I sent him whatever he needed to whatever information he needed to deal with the university, but he just didn't do it properly. So my Manchester offer fell through. And so I came...
Imagine you going to Manchester. You'd be a different person.
The different guy right now.
Different person.
So I got, like, summer, I was in Switzerland. I was like, geez, what am I doing? You know, like, results had come out. Like, people were getting into places at uni. I didn't have any place at uni. Mm-hmm. So I went through clearing and I started calling up universities. Like, okay, I need to get into uni now. Like, I got 2 offers from Ireland, from University of Galway, NUI, and is it NUI? I think, yeah. And then another university in Maynooth. And
Maynooth?
Yeah, it's just like somewhere in Ireland, isn't it? It's like not too far away from Dublin. I think it's County Meath or something like that. I got offers from those universities, but because I'd spent time in Ireland already,
You didn't want to.
I didn't want to go back there.
Fair enough.
You know, like it's always raining, like
Ireland isn't as bad as everyone says it is.
It's not a bad place. The people are lovely. Don't get me wrong. They're like probably one of the cheeriest people you're gonna meet. Like there's always
definitely.
banter.
I had this girl on NCS that I used to mentor. Her name is. She listens to this. She's called Ife.
Aoife.
Aoife. Yeah,
Aoife.
Aoife.
Is it Aoife?
That's it. But
Aoife,
I used to say it Aoife because I had a friend in school like that. I have a friend in school like that, high school. So
that was
Eva.
one culture shock thing as well. You know, like I learned that all is not as it seems when you're pronouncing Irish names. Like
not at all.
You know,
but she used to wake
Siobhan,
up.
Have you seen how Siobhan's spelled? Like, you know, all these names. It's
crazy.
Alva. Alva is another Irish name that's
Alva?
spelled well. Yeah, it's I think it's Ailbhe that they spell it.
There's a B in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Damn, man.
These are all like Irish names, isn't it? But that got to me when I first started going to school there. But
I used to wake up in the morning and you have to kind of rally the troops and get them all up and stuff like that. She used to come in. She used to be one of the first people up, ready, kind of waiting to go for breakfast. This girl had a smile on her face every single day of the 3-week kind of process that they go through, and she'd be like, "Top of the morning to you." I used to crack up. It used to make my day. It was just like a rainbow. She's just a rainbow of energy.
Like honestly, I don't think I've met a lot of Irish people that I've disliked. I mean, like they usually come. They're just always cheeky people in it. They're always like they've always got banter to spare. Yeah, they've always got banter to spare. So it's always been good vibes. But the reason I didn't want to stay in Ireland, it wasn't really about the people. It was just about. So I don't like the rain.
I'm built like that as well.
I don't like the rain. It's not for us. It's not. I don't like the sun either. But like,
yeah, you're different. That's
I'm weird like that. So like, it was always raining, and because we were playing on. It was mostly because of football. I don't like the rain, to be fair. Cause,
really?
Yeah, when we played football and it was rainy, the games always got cancelled because the pitches got waterlogged.
Waterlogged in Ireland?
Yeah, pitches get waterlogged. We're playing in bogs, like really muddy pitches, you know. So like it had to be good conditions for us to play.
So that's why you're so quick on the ball, because you had to kind of just like skip over.
Yeah.
Come to England and it's like
you're close control.
It's like how they play in Brazil, right? That's why they're so good.
Yeah,
at football,
they play favela ball, and like in the favelas and like just.
And it's
street
all close
ball.
Contact, and that way when you get to a big pitch, it's all
the close
like
control. Yeah, exactly. When you can like just keep the ball on your feet, like it opens up so much for you on the pitch. Like it's hard for them to take the ball off you without fouling you. But you know, like football is a different thing. Like I learned a lot.
We'll dive into that. We'll dive into that. Go for finish up Ireland.
So yeah, the school I was going to was called Wilson's Hospital School, and it was in a place called Morty Farnham. It was in Westmeath, so it was a 45-minute drive from Dublin. So what I'd do is I'd fly in, I'd leave Switzerland, and maybe on term time, the first like weekend of term time, I'd leave Switzerland. Maybe I used to get like driven, so a driver would come pick me up at like 5 a.m.
Right.
From the Flat and Burn. We'd drive to Zurich, and then I'd have to fly from Zurich.
So you used to live in Bern?
Yeah, I lived in Bern. I had to fly from Zurich to Dublin, and then I'd get there really early. So I used to always have this like tradition of getting a McDonald's breakfast, because there was a McDonald's at the airport in the terminal.
Yeah.
So our waiting spot was by the McDonald's, so we all had to like wait there. So I'd get there.
Was it a boarding school?
It was a boarding. It was like a private. It was a private like boarding day school as well. It was mixed.
Yeah,
you could
kind of like my school.
Yeah, you could do either. Yeah. So if you wanted to board and you live close, and if you wanted to be a day student and you lived close, you could obviously. But
yeah, I got you.
Internationals like us, we just boarded. You know, I couldn't afford to do anything else.
Same concept of school. I got you.
Yeah. So I'd get there. I'd be there probably the whole day at the airport, just waiting, because they didn't want to like keep going back and forth. So they'd wait till the last flight come in, and then
for the whole day.
Yeah, and then we all hop on the coach and then head out to school. Yeah. And so yeah, that was fun. I did enjoy my time in Ireland, but the weather wasn't for me, and because I didn't spend so much time like outside the school setting.
Yeah.
I didn't really have family there. I had a few family friends, but I didn't have family. So
I got you.
On weekends when there was people who boarded, they lived in Dublin and like in like surrounding areas, but they don't want to do the day thing.
Right.
So they boarded during the week and then they went home during the weekend.
Okay.
So I could have like gone to family friends over the weekend, but I didn't know anyone there. I didn't have anyone, so I used to stay. Do
you still keep in touch with anyone
from Ireland?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do. Like I not a lot of them, but like most of them. Like a good.
That's nice.
A good bit of them.
Your life is so spaced out, man. You got people in. I'm guessing you got friends in Switzerland.
I've got friends in Switzerland.
You got friends in England. You got friends in Ireland. You got friends back home in Niger.
Very few.
A couple, like couple.
2,
friends.
3.
Like family friends.
No, people like I've went to primary school with, start secondary with.
So just a little. Have you got friends in New York as well?
New York is the one. Actually, I've got friends. I can't even call them friends, to be fair. They're more like acquaintances. Really. But New York is the one place that I haven't really been able to set up base. I'm not gonna lie.
So it's on the list of things to do.
I don't have that much time left to do that, to be fair. But
the rest of your life, man.
yeah, but
So you have a green card, right?
no.
So how'd you get your visa?
So because my mom works like she works for Nigeria to the UN. She's like an
Okay.
envoy. Yeah.
Oh, so that's how you get it.
Yeah, so that's why we keep having to. Well, she got that recently just for New York.
Nice.
But before that, she was just doing diplomatic work as an envoy. But then this time she had to do it to the UN.
I got you.
So
I understand. It's a hell of a building, that UN building in New York.
yeah, I went in there once. It was sick.
Really?
Yeah, I went in
I've
there
been
once.
to the one in Nairobi. They got like a 250-acre campus or something like that. It's
Really?
massive. It's
That has to be on the
huge.
bucket list now.
It's,
I know, just
it's
UN
monstrous.
gives you like a larger than life vibe in it. Like it just
it's insane. They've got like artwork that's been donated from China, and it just looks so out of place in Nairobi. And you're thinking, how the hell did this end up here? And it's incredible. Like the UN's an amazing body.
yeah, honestly, like if I could pick anybody to work for, it'd probably be the UN.
Is that kind of where you want to get to?
Hopefully, but
Following mum's footsteps.
Well, yes and no, you know, like, but
That's a conversation for another time. Okay, so where were we at? We're at the
island.
island and the drinking.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Well, anyways, I didn't want to
get a couple Guinnesses.
I never went out, so I was always like really young in Ireland, you know. So I never went out.
Okay, so you finished up school there.
I finished school.
Went back to Switzerland.
Didn't get into uni.
This is when you did the work at a friend's place, the construction thing you told me
Yeah,
about.
so because I didn't get into uni, I go into Holloway. Sorry, I go into Holloway. I got an offer
And you
for
just deferred that.
but I deferred it because
So
I
did
had
you turn up
problems.
at uni at 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I had problems getting a visa.
Okay.
Because I think I got clearing too late, and then I couldn't apply for a visa in time.
And all of that.
Well, it's
Story
just,
of life.
being an international student is just one visa after the other. That's like that is the story of our lives.
So your calendar is kind of, this visa expires here. This
Yeah, and
visa
then it's
expires
like, how do
there.
I fit in this application for a visa so like I'm not left stranded?
This is taking 2
Like,
weeks and I can't be stranded in this country.
There is nothing like spontaneous holidays for an international student. Nothing like
Did
it.
you go to like Norway the other week?
Oh, I applied for a visa well ahead of time. It was Germany. See, that's one good thing. Yeah, it makes you such an organized person. Like
But you're the type of person that's, or from my point of view, you are organized, but you look disorganized. So you rock up and you're like, nah, does he even know what kind of the dress code is or what's going on? And then he suddenly whips out a suit and he's all dressed and you're like, wait, what?
It's because I do things at my own pace.
Like, lastminute.com, but you get it done.
Yeah. I feel like when I need to do things quickly, like if you ask anyone who's worked with me, like done a job with me or done a coursework like project with me.
Yeah.
When I need to get it done, I get it done. The only time you'll ever see me rock up and do my own thing is when it's things that have to do with leisure, really. Like, you know, like I'm going clubbing. I'll rock up on my own time to pre. You know, if I'm going to a football game. See, the thing is, I hate waiting. I don't like waiting. So at the very this is the reason why I was always late when it came to football, because at the very start of uni I was always early
And no one showed up.
and then people used to take the piss, and so because I hated waiting, I said, all right, I might as well be the last person to come, so like everything
Rock up
goes
last.
when I get there, you know. It's kind of stupid, but that was what I
It
thought.
just worked for the
and
next 3 years.
So everyone used to get annoyed. Oh, Pete, it's always Pete. But I was like, if I come early, you lot are gonna keep me waiting, so I might as well come and get, you know, and everyone leaves when I come. Like,
I feel you.
but anyways, I couldn't get a visa to go to come to the UK for that, so I got the part-time job. I started doing this it's like construction work. It paid really well. Like I was doing fuck all. I was earning maybe like 1,000 francs for like a 17-year-old doing nothing. So that would be like
So you're
maybe
just milking it.
yeah, like I was working 5 days a week, but I was working like 7 till 5 or something like
Okay.
that, you know, like, but because I used to get put with my family friend, so he'd do the bulk of the work and I'd just literally help him out here and there. I was getting paid basically to just observe,
Fair enough.
you know, like it was one of the, I finessed it. I don't know how, but I finessed it. The only time I actually remember doing work was when we had to renovate the cinema in the middle of Bern. It's like by the center of Bern. It's called
Have you ever been
Bahnhof.
back there since you renovated it?
The cinema.
Yeah.
When I go back, then when things open
in a
up,
couple months.
yeah, when things open up, I'm gonna have to go see a film there. But it's called Kino Rex. Like we had to renovate that, and that was the only time I actually remembered I used machinery, like breaking stuff apart, drilling. I had to do all that shit.
17-year-old black kid.
They literally they worked me there. But every other site I didn't really do much. So I think it was in March time, I was playing for this team in the 4th division.
In Switzerland?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the way Swiss football works is weird. Well, not weird, but it's not the same as English football, innit? Like England has so many tiers of football.
Mm-hmm.
But in Switzerland, it's like the Super League, the Challenge League. Those are the 2 professional leagues.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, there's 5 leagues. There's 5 leagues
underneath that.
Yeah, so there's but they don't count. They start counting at 1. So it's not the 3rd league is the 1st league.
Okay.
Do you get me? So it's
Right.
Super League, Challenge League, then 1st league, 2nd league, 3rd league, 4th league, 5th league.
Okay.
Do you get me? So I was playing for a 4th league team at the time.
Instead of the UK, where it's the other way around. Right?
Well, in the UK, there's I don't know how it works, but I just know there's bare divisions.
There's Prem.
There's Prem, there's Championship,
Champions.
There's League 1, League 2.
Yeah, League 1, League
then
2.
Then it goes into non-league football.
Any of the other ones.
Yeah, it's long. I think it's National League after that, Vanarama National League after that. But whatever.
I don't know.
So yeah, I was playing for a team at that point, and what they used to do is they used to go in March time. There'd be a trip somewhere in Switzerland.
Okay.
So I was always at school before then, so I never got to go. But obviously I had a gap year this time, so I went. And it was in a place called Leukebad, which is up in the mountains.
Okay.
Yeah? So I asked my mom, can I go? She was like, I expected to pull a Nigerian mom and be like, no, who are these people? I don't know them. I want the number of their parents before I let you go. Like proper Nigerian strict mom shit. But until she was like, no, you can go. I think she felt kind of sorry for me because things weren't working out. Like I was meant to go to uni, I didn't go. She just wanted me to kind of let that out of my system, innit? So she was like, yeah, go. So I went. It was meant to be for just a weekend, innit? Which it was. So we drove up to Leukebad on I think it was a Friday afternoon.
Fair enough.
Friday afternoon. We met at the pitches, drove up to Leukebad.
So it was like a football thing.
It was a football thing.
It wasn't just like a fun trip.
It was a football thing that was meant to be fun. So we were gonna train up in the.
What's it like playing at altitude?
The air's thin, innit? So you need a lot more work. I don't know, your fitness needs to be good to
but
train there.
you could deal with it then.
At that point, I was pretty fit because I was playing all the time. I was training all the time. I used to go to this park every evening at 5. I'd be at that park. So I'd finish up from work. I used to depending on the shift. Most times I finished at 4. It was a quick tram ride back home. Go home, take off my clothes, quickly change into football gear, and then it was a 10-minute jog to the pitches. So I jogged to the park. On the way down. And he had the goals and everything, and I made a lot. I had a little Tibetan family that adopted me there. So they were the loveliest people. They were probably the only people I was friendly with at in Switzerland properly.
Okay.
They really just took me in.
Do you know if they're still there?
I speak to a couple of them here and there. I didn't really have socials at that point, so I didn't really get anything off them apart from 1 or 2 when I finally got Facebook. I used to go play with the Tibetans. They'd organize games and everything, so I was always playing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
man.
it was really nice. I learned a lot about your culture. How they have the Dalai Lama going around trying to get international support for the cause and all that. I learned a lot about that. Just spirituality, all that stuff.
You got spirituality.
They were explaining to me how the Dalai Lama gets chosen.
Yes.
And all that stuff. If I remember correctly, it's
Tibetan.
he's the leader. He's the leader. Yeah, he is.
Buddhist.
He is. He's your leader,
and
spiritual
chosen.
leader. Yeah, apparently he's I think he's reincarnated or something like that.
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
I believe so. He's reincarnated in different forms.
He needs to pick the toys and I think clothes of the previous Dalai Lama, and if he does it, that's when he becomes the Dalai Lama himself.
That's really.
If I remember correctly, that's what I was told.
So while I was in India, there is this. It's not a cult. Some people look at it as a cult, but it's not a cult. It's kind of like a sect of Hinduism called Sai Baba, and I don't know off the top of my head like how to describe it, but they kind of follow the values of Hinduism and they go along that route. But again, you have a chosen leader, but this leader, the kind of pushes it forward, that pushes the needle of the religion. I don't know, but so the current one is alive, right? The one that's next, so after this one dies and passes on, the next one is already alive. It's just that they haven't found him yet.
I see. Okay.
It's really
so
weird.
it's
really weird.
It's a succession type.
Yeah, it's a succession type, but they're not related in any way. This kid is out there. No one knows who he is, but he'll do something incredible one day, and he'll be able to, I don't know, recite XYZ, or be able to play an Indian instrument with these magical skills, and he will become the successor.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. One of our good friends was explaining it to me, and I was like,
it's interesting. It's interesting to see how people like see how things work, innit? Like how the thought process.
Like it's not even blind belief. It's
methodical.
It's methodical in a way, but there's also an element of I am putting my faith in you, so I don't have to deal with it. Like it's something that's I'm believing in a higher power, and I'm gonna let that higher power do the just thing, do what needs to be done, not what I want it to be done, and it gives her that energy. I was like, this is incredible.
It's crazy.
Her name is Sai as well. Her name is Sai, and she follows Sai Baba. For a moment, I was like, wait, what?
It's like a bit of a mindfuck there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mindfuck. But she has, I think she's got 2 PhDs.
She's got 2 PhDs?
Yeah, she's got 2 PhDs. Or she's got one, and she was going to do another one for the shits and gigs.
So this, I mean, she's
built different, man. She's like a living Excel spreadsheet. The way she can calculate stuff is insane. And she's got interpersonal skills, and she runs, like in India, she runs basically one arm of Unilever's sustainability pillar that they have. Like, she's a different kind of woman. Like, and you've got to look at it and the fact that she has 2 kids. She's kind of a typical Indian woman, but she's more than typical. She's a phenomenal human being. It's just insane. And the mindset they've got out there is completely different to individuals in the UK and in Europe. You're living for survival to an extent there, compared to here. Well, it's probably the same in Nige. You're living for survival. Compared to here, where you've got golden parachute.
Like I don't think I can't speak for most Nigerians, but I think a lot of people in Nigeria they can't really afford to dream too big.
Really?
Because the pathways aren't there. You know, like.
Are you talking about Nigerians in Nigeria?
Nigerians in Nigeria, not Nigerians out in diaspora like me, because obviously we spend more of our lives outside than in Nigeria, so we think different, we sound different, we act different.
You think you sound different?
We sound different. Accent.
Okay, of course, accent wise.
Yeah.
Sorry, accent. Yeah.
We think different, we act different. Like we don't.
When you say you act different, explain that one to me.
So, for example, like Nigerians like to nitpick on really like tiny cultural things,
such as
like appearance. Like,
okay,
for example, I've got braids. They don't like my mom
braids is kind of a Nigerian that's left Nigeria type of thing. It's not something that you culturally have if you
if a Nigerian in Nigeria has braids on,
yeah,
he'll get judged a lot more than me, who's not been in Nigeria for ages. Do you get what I mean? Like it's like why have you done? They frown upon it so much. Tats, piercings.
Really?
I'm in serious trouble.
Right. For those that don't know Peter, I'm looking at Peter. He's got a nose piercing now. No, I'm just kidding. You're gonna have a nose piercing right here, right?
I don't know. Undecided
on that. Tattoos are on the cards.
Literally.
Braids. He's got braids. But you've had braids for a while though.
Then the
and you got the studs in the ears.
Yeah.
Got the rings.
I'm a target for SARS basically. You see SARS, they look at me and they're like, yeah,
money.
we're going for him. But yeah, like it's life in Nigeria is peak. It's peak, but we're veering off.
That's all right. It happens.
It's just to refocus.
So we're in Switzerland. We're in the mountains.
So we're in Switzerland. We're in Leukebad. We go up there. We drive up on a Friday afternoon. So it's evening time, and mind you, my only experience with drinking, is having a sip from like a glass of wine or having a sip from a can of beer.
Because it's a done thing in Switzerland, isn't it? Like in the Swiss culture or in kind of European culture, they do that, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, when you have Nigerian
Yes, of
parents
course,
and family,
of course.
they really never want to embrace
Engage with
certain aspects of the culture you're in, because they think you're doing a disservice to your own like values.
But
and
my
and
family
whatnot.
does that. They just like whatever country they go to, they just embrace the culture.
That's good though. That's how to be a good immigrant. You know, like you
Yeah,
gotta
it is,
like
it's true.
assimilate. You know, when in Rome, you know,
Exactly,
do as they do.
exactly.
You know, like, but it's not like I'm saying my family were bad at assimilating. We were good, but there's certain aspects of the culture that are not that deep. But just because in Nigeria, it's like, how can you let a 16-year-old be
And
drinking?
when in France, they're doing it at, like, 10.
Exactly. You know, so I wasn't really interested in drinking. You know, like before you get drunk for the first time, it's hard to see what the appeal is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
Okay, so you get drunk. Do you? And this is a question that I kind of want to start asking people. Do you get drunk for the love of the alcohol, or do you get drunk for the feeling?
I get drunk for the feeling.
So you're one of them.
I get drunk for the feeling of being drunk.
Lack of inhibition.
Yes, that's it. And the freedom. You know, I love to hit the moon.
Yeah.
I love the dance floor. When I'm drunk, I'm at that peak, where the alcohol's flowing through me, the dance floor, the music's
it's 2 a.m.
banging,
and he's
DJ
still taking
CB, that's on music.
Yeah, Satch is playing.
Satch, you know, Manny, all the legends are there, like killing the shit. That's where I'm at my happiest, like just dancing, man. I just love to dance. No, but I don't like you know, structured dances. You know, like with any.
You just like free
Just
form.
like free. Just like to
Just do
move
whatever
in
you
it.
want to do.
So yeah, like that was it. Really, like I just never had.
So what was it like?
any
What was it like the
intention.
first time? What happened?
So yeah, I'm getting to this. Isn't it? So obviously, because I have
It's gonna be like I took one shot and that's it. You know, I just went to bed.
I wish. So we all had like these like service apartments, yeah. So it was 4 people per apartment.
Okay.
It was 2 rooms, 2 single beds, 4 people per apartment. So everyone came to our apartment
Okay.
to pre.
Yeah.
And then this was the first time I'd ever seen a Jaeger bomb. Like
Really?
I had no interest in alcohol. Like I didn't care. I just like I'd never been drunk, so I didn't care about like I didn't know anything about alcohol. Like nothing at all. So like I saw he put the Red Bull, like he put the Jägermeister. They were shotting. I was like, damn. So I saw them shotting Jägermeister and Red Bull, and I
Yeah.
thought, okay, so that's I repeat, I knew nothing about drinking. Even from films, I never paid attention. You know,
Right.
Like never did. So I see them drinking, like, see this person who's like, it's like shotting, it's taking a shot of vodka. That person's taking a shot of gin. You know, like I remember seeing the blue Bombay Sapphire bottle there. Like you know, there was like I think it was Grey Goose or no, like it was I think it was Grey Goose vodka. Like one of the guys had, and he was taking shots of it. And so I was like, they were asking me to join them. I was like, no. But then I saw how like everyone just suddenly became so jovial and so like.
So you
free.
saw that, you had that moment.
I saw it. Like I was playing. I brought my PS4 because I thought I wasn't gonna go out. I brought my PS4. I was banging FIFA out.
Nah, you
like
little 17
FIFA 15. I was hitting that. I was a king of FIFA 15. I was so good back in the day. So I was like, I was playing FIFA. Like everyone was playing. I'm just there playing FIFA. Like being antisocial as fuck. Then I just for a split second, I turn around, look at the room, and everyone's just at such a level. They're playing music, you're just vibing. I was like, maybe I should drink. Maybe I should try something. Yeah, it wasn't even peer pressure. It's like it was just curiosity. So they were like, all right, cool. Yeah. There's alcohol there. You have whatever you like.
Did they know that you hadn't drunk before?
They knew I hadn't drunk before because I said I hadn't drunk before. They're like, yeah, have what you want. But they thought I knew the basics of drinking.
They didn't know you knew
I
nothing.
didn't. So what I did was I grabbed the pint, like a pint glass. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I went to the kitchen. I filled it 3/4 with Bacardi. And I downed it.
Crazy guy.
And
Did
I
you
downed
eat
it.
beforehand?
I did not. I thought that's how people drank. Straight spirits. So I was like, damn, these guys are crazy. How can they drink this all the time straight?
Did you feel the burn for the first time?
Like,
And you were
it
hooked?
burned my throat. It was horrible. The only thing that, see, I'm good at like downing stuff.
Now,
No, even if I took that to first year, innit? I took that skill to first year. I'm good at downing stuff because when you're younger, when I was younger, and I was ill and I had malaria or something like that, you know, like people think malaria is that deep, but when your younger days in Nige, malaria ain't that. It's commonplace. People get malaria left, right, and center. You just treat it. It's not like
just treat it.
Yeah, you just treat it. Like you take tablets, you're ill for like a couple of days, you're good. Like it's not like a life and death thing. It is a life and death thing in certain areas with poor infrastructure, obviously, but it's easy.
They really make it out here like it's like you're gonna die. Obviously
every time I tell people I've had malaria multiple times, they're like, "No way!" Like how?
What's it like?
Oh, it's fucking horrible. I can't lie. Like you hallucinate. You always see like you're bedridden. Like you're sweating. You're hallucinating.
How long usually?
Mine usually went like 3-4 days, like just unable to sleep properly, nightmares, hallucination, like
all from this little one sting.
All literally, all from one female mosquito that doesn't know how to act, like literally. So where was I? Yeah. So because of that, I used to have to take a lot of like syrups, you know, like when you're ill, and they taste horrible. They have quinine in them. The same thing that is in what's that tonic? You know the thing that makes tonic bitter.
Yes, that's why in India they drink tonic.
Exactly.
Or the English
that stuff
tonic.
is medicinal.
Yeah.
So it's used
like
to make
stuff?
a lot of. I hated it. I hate it so much.
I like that stuff.
I hate it so much. But I used to have to do that a lot because I was.
So you just knock it back.
Yeah, I grew able to.
So you were built for drinking. You just didn't even know it.
Exactly. Basically, I was built for it, but I just didn't know it. So I was used to like just backing and holding it down, like just firming it, you know, like I'm not vomiting, because if I vomited, I was gonna get spanked by my mom. Like, you're not wasting that good syrup in my house. So like I was good. I firmed the Bacardi. I thought I was good. I walk in. So I get into the club. I didn't get ID'd, which surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna get in, but it was a small club, like literally by a spa
type thing.
Yeah, it was a village in the mountains. Like it was the only thing they had going for them. I think they didn't really care if you were 14 or 13 or whatever. But I didn't, and it's not like I looked old for my age. I looked probably younger for my age when I was 17. I probably looked 15, to be fair. So I walked in, and there's people there. Everyone's dancing, and I'm like, okay. It hits me. Obviously, you've had so much alcohol and you've never drank before.
So you just did the 3/4 of a pint glass of Bacardi.
And I left the flat.
That's like some people's standard, like a whole night.
Literally. So I get in there. I'm dancing. I'm having so much fun. This was the first time, because if you ask anyone, who grew up with me, I didn't dance.
Really?
Yeah, because inhibitions like.
Prevented
shy,
you from doing that.
He's like, am I even good at dancing? I don't want to look like an idiot. So I never danced at parties or whatever. I just always like kind of kept to myself, just vibe.
That guy in the corner with the coat.
That was me, yeah. So that was the first time really, like I actually just felt like, wow, like I just wanted to move to the music. I remember Dancer Kuduro came on straight away.
Oh, really? That
literally, it came on straight away. Wow. I was like, say nothing. I was hitting the moves on the dance floor. Like my teammates were like, damn, like I ain't never seen this guy even move like that, and like look at him.
Did you get kicked out of the club?
No.
You had to stay the whole night.
I had to leave the club, not because I was dead. I lasted maybe 45 minutes. Then I couldn't stand. I was gone. So
your first time drinking was your first experience of being gone.
Gone.
Like blackout drunk. That's crazy.
I had to like have two mates had to like literally lift me out of the club. I vomited outside it. Then I got taken up to the flat and they put me to bed. I woke up the next morning with the load of all hangovers. The only hangover I had in a long time after that, like literally horrible hangover. And then we had trading that day as well.
Really?
Yeah, so we went.
Don't they say that exercise is the best cure for a hangover?
It depends on how hungover you are, really. I'm talking about.
Did your coach
I couldn't even stand up properly. He probably did. Like I wasn't trying to hide it.
That's hilarious.
And he knew we were all gonna party that night, so he expected people to be hungover.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it was fucking horrible. It was fucking horrible. But yeah, that took me into first year. I was bad. I was drinking, like, if you ask Shamaki, yeah, ask Shamaki, because he was.
But Shamaki doesn't drink, does he?
He alternates. Sometimes he wants to be
He wants to be a bad guy.
Yeah, sometimes he wants to do a detox. He won't drink, but he alternates.
Fair
if
enough.
you ask Shamaki, yeah, because he was there from like the get go.
Did you share a flat with him?
Well, we basically lived together for like 2 years. Well, he was commuting, but because Reed had one of those beds you can draw from under.
Really?
So he just used to stay at mine all the time.
I didn't know. I've never been to Reed.
Really? Yeah, it had like
I was in
a mattress underneath. You could kind of draw if you like if you pushed at the right angles, you tugged at the right angles, you could draw out. So we brought it out. Shamaki had a bed. We just lived together for first year basically.
That is so calm.
Yeah. So he knew my routine was. Let's say on a Wednesday or whatever, like I'd come back from football, because I didn't like drinking per se. I didn't drink beer. Mind you, my first like experience was the Bacardi there.
Okay, so
I went straight to spirits.
Okay,
straight to spirits from there. So I went straight to vodka. Yeah. Okay. So at the very start, I did what I knew best. I'd pour half a pint glass, 3/4 pint glass of vodka, and then I'd put squash and I'd down it. So I never preed.
Okay.
Everyone's preeing. I'm chilling upstairs. I'm getting ready. The moment everyone's about to get to the SU, I do my quick concoction, down it. By the time we got to the SU, we're both at the same level of drunk, where everyone was I was at the same level as people who'd been preeing for 2-3 hours. So that's what I used to do all the time. All the time.
But that was first year, and then what? I remember, so I came into uni when you were in your second year, right?
Mm.
I remember you showed up at a prees once. Actually, no, this was in my second year, you were in your third year.
Mm.
I mean, we knew each other beforehand. We knew of each other. And I remember you rocking up to our house and you walked through the front door and you just had this kind of like beer in a beer glass with a straw. And you were like probably 5 minutes into us leaving and you just rocked up and we were like, Pete, we told you to come like an hour and a half ago. You were like, yeah, that was never going to happen. Just the calmest way. You just walked in, and we all looked at you and were like, "Huh?"
I think Louise perfectly like described it. Like I was not one to go to people's prees.
You just pre by yourself.
I literally like I'm a massive weirdo. I just pre on my own because what I didn't like about going to people's prees, yeah, was I go to prees and I couldn't control the music.
Right.
So to me, prees is all about the music.
You like having your own.
That's why I like having my own prees. That's why I'm happy preying on my own because I'm moving to the music in my room. I'm kind of like just vibing.
But you do that for, you know what? Actually,
and that's why I took earphone to the SU.
Yes.
That's why I used to do that as well. Because remember that first segment of Tommy's used to be like fucking like was it like techno music? 'Cause imagine being so hyped from your own good banging tunes, then you rock up to SU and you're like you some dead. Nah, I couldn't do that. So I'd have to go with my earphones for the first hour and keep vibing on my own. And then when the music came in, then I go in with everyone else.
Okay, got you. I got you.
But yeah, that's why I didn't like to go to people's
little
prees.
Trick for the first years. Whenever clubs started.
People thought I was such a dickhead for that. I remember like, what? Someone comes in. Why have you got earphones in? That's so rude.
No one understood. You were just.
It's like how is it rude? How does it affect you?
People used to come up to you and say that.
Yeah. People come to me like, oh, that's bare rude. Like, do you think you're cool? It's like, oh, let me just live in peace. I thought
you were trying to be cool, but now I understand.
Let me just live in peace. As if having earphones in makes you cool. Like,
and now what? Now
what kind of bar is that?
I mean, you were doing it. You basically just needed AirPods.
I needed AirPods. That would have done me
years ahead of your time.
I needed AirPods. Ahead. Like I just wanted to keep the vibe going. I need to preserve that energy. And if I went without that music and I was at the SU, the techno would kill my vibe. And then I'd sober up because I'm like I only want to drink to get drunk so I can keep that energy.
Level.
Yeah.
And so you think does the music help you kind of maintain that level of feeling?
Yeah, 100%.
And so you get into that feel, not your feels, but you get into that feel, and it's like yeah, I want to long this out for as long as possible.
100%.
And just milk it for as long as possible. So when you drink now, do you do the same thing?
So my drinking thingy has changed over the years, isn't it? Like it went from all that vodka shit, then it went to wine.
Yeah,
So
I remember you on wine for a little bit.
I went. That was you. You remember me on rosé?
Yeah.
But I went to red wine first.
Oh, so I saw you at the end of your wine stage.
Basically.
Okay.
So I went to red wine. Yeah, and what I used to do is basically the same. I put in a pint glass and down it. I did not sip alcohol
Crazy.
for years. All I did was down.
You know how to sip it now, yeah?
Now I have two alcoholic drinks I can sip. Like it's a vodka, lemonade, and lime cordial. Jack Daniels and Red Bull are that's the only thing I can sip. Anything else has to get downed. It's like I just don't like the taste of it. I didn't like the taste of red wine either. But I just buy it, the cheap ones, 11% or 12%. Buy that.
You just go for the highest percentage.
Yeah. I'd buy a bottle of those.
Typically.
Then I used to buy that with like gum because I hate the taste of wine in it. So I chew gum.
Oh, and drink wine.
I chew gum. You had to get that like nice taste in my mouth. Then it had to like as a little like what's the word for it? It had to like as a little like protection like like a little cover. Yeah, of my tongue to the taste of wine. So I'll just back the wine down quickly, then pop another couple of gums in my mouth.
A whole kind of process.
Routine. I thought about it properly. Yeah, I went from that to
This is what you're doing.
beers.
You're supposed to be doing your coursework.
Basically, I went from that to beers. That's probably when you saw me like turning
beers,
up a beer.
Rosé beers was
I went out
kinda
to beers and then I went to rosé.
So really, people can know you from your stage, or what stage of drinking you were at in your life.
Yeah, basically.
That's kind of crazy
like,
to say.
It's people who've seen me from the very beginning, like say Shamaki. He definitely remembers like the stages of my drinking, like what I was doing from time to time.
What was it like living with him? Like, what was it like living with another person?
It was
living.
It was amazing because it's Shamaki in it, you know. Like it's
Shamaki's
Shamaki.
a cool guy. I mean, you know what? I haven't had a lot of FaceTime with Shamaki. Like, I know he's a great guy, and I'm still getting to know him. Like, I used to know of him. He used to live down the road from me, in my second year, and that's kind of like how I know the face. And then obviously I met him at yours. He's turned up to barbecues and stuff like that, and so I've got to know him a little better over the years. But he's someone that I want to sit down with and kind of just bash some stuff out with.
Yeah,
because the way he thinks, and he's such a calm guy. He's like calm in the sense of there's an aura around him.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like that when you see him visually, but when you start talking to him, there's a sense of calmness that comes
energy,
with Shamaki.
Yeah, like he's such a calm guy, and because of that, it's easy to like we go along like
peas in a pod.
No, it took a like I'm not even gonna cap. Yeah, but we didn't get along straight away.
You have your teething.
Yeah, it was. If you ask Shamaki, there was this one time, yeah, when I was coming to uni, I didn't know anyone, so I was eager to make friends. I was being a social butterfly, putting myself out there. Shamaki obviously came as one of the first candidates. We did geography together. We spoke literally after the first meeting of the year. We spoke, me, him, a couple guys were just outside talking. He came back to read. He met my parents. He met my mom.
Really?
Yeah, he met my mom. Because he met my mom. Because I went to that meeting, came back. My mom was still in my room. Shamaki came.
So did he start living with you from the first day?
Nah, it took maybe like 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Only 3 weeks?
Yeah, like 3 weeks. Like he was a bit awkward at the start, innit?
Okay.
He just didn't like.
I can't even imagine what a young Shamaki would be like.
He when I first met him, his hair was more it was more like dreads than an afro. I tell him to go back to that. It was so sick. So yeah, he obviously like we started talking a bit more in it. Yeah, if you ask Shamaki, you'll tell her this one time. Maybe I should stop chatting to this guy. It was such an awkward experience where we left campus together. Yeah, I was going to Egham High Street. He was going back to End. The whole time there, it was just me talking. You know me, like
once you get you rolling, he doesn't stop.
Like I was talking. Yeah, I was talking to him, but like.
Do you feel like you were talking at him?
I was talking at him.
Okay.
But the thing is, I was doing that because I was obviously trying to make friends.
If your first year, like people have to understand.
But you like you see me now. I don't talk as much. Like if I don't need to talk to people,
I probably did the same thing. Let's be honest. About it. I most definitely did the same thing. First year uni, you kind of putting yourself out there, trying to find people,
just trying to make new friends. You're in a new country. Like it was not my first time.
It was a new country.
It was not my first time in the UK.
Was it the first time you even been to Windsor?
What?
Egham, was it your first time you've been to Egham as well?
100%.
So new place completely.
Every time I'd come to UK before that, I was London. I'd never left London.
You didn't even know where Egham was.
I had no idea Egham even existed.
Wow.
And when it said Royal Holloway, University of London, I was one of those international guys that fell for it. So I was like, damn, that shit's in London. Say less, I'm there.
Technically, we're outside of London, aren't we? I mean, where we're at now is inside the M25, isn't it?
Is that why it gets London?
That's why I think you've got a London postcode, and then like what this place, this house, and then Egham is on the other side.
This is not.
Egham's on the outside. It's not on the inside, is it? Because you wrap around and you come out.
I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea.
Both of us have been going to uni for 3 years. We're like, yeah, it's technically in London.
I have no idea.
I've got no idea why it's called Uni in London. It makes no sense. It's probably because they got the campus on London. That building.
I think that might be it. But I fell for that. So, anyways, like,
what was your experience like? Did you enjoy your time? Have you enjoyed your time
at Holloway?
At Holloway, it's come to an end.
Yeah,
now.
I fucking loved it.
Would you change it for anything else?
Change going to Holloway or change
going to Holloway? Or taking a different path, or maybe
obviously
doing an apprenticeship.
There's a lot. Like that. I mean, I'm happy. I would 100% repeat going to Holloway
in a heartbeat.
That's great. Because I think Holloway was the best possible setting for someone like me. You know,
why'd you say that?
Because I was coming here at a young age. It was a campus, you know, a nice quiet town where I could really take my time to like get used to where I was living.
And it was a small town as well.
It's a small town, you know, like just everything was, I could do things at my own pace. There was no hustle and bustle of London trying to, you know, do you get what I mean? Like, yeah.
With everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I didn't feel that way anyways. And yeah, it's just calm people.
You got to do everything that you wanted to do. The football, the people, the drinking.
The facilities, the sports centre were really good. You know, like the SU was probably one of it was my second clubbing experience.
There's something about the SU. Okay, so the SU was my first clubbing experience. Yeah, it was my first time kind of going out like that. Spain? Did I ever go to Spain? No, I didn't do it in Spain. I did that after I went to the SU. There's something special about our SU, isn't it? It's kind of like a family atmosphere.
It's as Ali likes to put it. It's like a house party.
It's like a big house party.
It's a fat house party.
Because you see the same people over and over and over again, and that gets boring at times. But there were times where, like on an Afrobeats night, or what were those famous nights that kind of got cancelled?
ACS.
That weren't the same after kind of the first year.
Yeah, SU really did us dirty with taking ACS away.
ACS was.
How can you know what's even worse about the whole ACS thing is now that you're attempting to like factor that back into nights out, they've given the ACS DJ, the smallest room in all of SU. You know where, like, it's not usually a room that people dance in, but they take the sofas out, they put the DJ decks in, and then that's where the actual Afro-Caribbean music's being played. Well, the actual Afro music's being played. And at Tommy's, it's usually like commercial, like UK hip-hop, like, you know, like drill, all that type of shit. But on ACS nights, you want that music at Tommy's. Yeah. Or main dance floor. Come on. You don't name a night.
Do you remember when Tyler got up on stage one time and Satch was DJing?
Well, for the wine competition.
Was it the wine competition?
Yeah, he was catching wine on stage. I remember that. I've never been proud of Tyler.
We're gonna get Tyler in here. We're gonna get Tyler in here as well. He's got some experiences to tell. So you've come to an end of your how many years? You've gotten 2 masters, man.
Yeah, but it's as a result of circumstance, innit? As I was saying, that physical geography thing fucked me over, because I ended my undergrad. So
you finished the undergrad. You didn't change the subject.
I couldn't leave geography. So why? all I could do was I just couldn't. I had to because I changed at the end of second year. So second year was horrible. Okay, horrible. Like 2 weeks in, I told you I didn't like my course anymore.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I couldn't change. So I spoke to my mom. She was like, "Oh yeah, just give it a go. Maybe it's because it's just a bit harder. Like you just need to adapt. You just need to work a bit more. Blah blah blah. So I said, all right, say no, and I'll try it. But I feel like everything was going wrong at the same time. So
it's one of those falling apart.
Moments. Literally, football was a huge release for me. I got injured. I couldn't play football. So all I really had.
Was it the start of second year?
It was start second year.
Okay, so
start second year.
You were coming off that injury.
I was coming off that injury, yeah. So I couldn't play. I hadn't played football in months. It was a knee injury, but it was like a knock, which is what was weird. It wasn't like I tore anything. It was more like I just pulled like a ligament.
Okay.
But it just hurt. It just hurt. So I hadn't played football in like maybe 2 months ish. Like if I tried to play, it just felt a bit off. So I'd be like, let me not risk this right now. So I wasn't playing football. Then it put me off to a bad start because I got promoted to the first team. Yeah, but it put me off to a bad start because I wasn't on form because I wasn't playing, and then because I wasn't on good form, I got dropped to the bench. I wasn't starting games anymore, and because I wasn't starting games anymore, I started like losing commitment and dedication. I didn't want to come to training. Like I didn't care for training anymore because I was like, why should I come train, bust a gut, and still go sit on the bench and play 15 minutes at the end? I'm not a Premier League player that gets paid 50 grand to sit down and can say, all right, cool, it's a job.
So that was your mindset going?
Yeah, I was like, I pay tier fees. I'm clearly like, honestly, I think I was better than the people I was being benched ahead of. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll say this to their faces as well if they want. Like I was being benched for people who I didn't think were better than me.
Right.
So I felt hard done. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna put any effort into this.
Would you do it again if you had if you were back in the same position? Would you sit on the bench and not have a problem with it, or would you do the same thing again?
If I was back in the same situation, I think I would just probably get my head out of my arse and just fucking play.
Right.
Because I think I let it get to me too much, and it caused a vicious cycle. Because
the
I wasn't.
Whole situation was just too overwhelming.
Yeah, literally, I wasn't. It became too much because I didn't have a good course life.
Right.
And I didn't. My social life was just only like going out. Like I had like football, which is like my healthy release. I didn't have that really.
I felt like I didn't have a healthy release. You know, now that you talk about it, I didn't have a healthy release until my third year where I started rock climbing. For the 2 years, all I did was sort of just work in air quotes, like whatever that means. Yeah,
it's important. Like I think SU is amazing and it's great for a release, but it's unhealthy.
Oh, totally.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're drinking, you're doing whatever you want to do. Like whatever you're taking, you're doing all that stuff. But football is exercise.
Yeah, there've been moments.
But football's like, you know, it's physical. It's physical like exertion. You know, you're keeping healthy. You're staying fit. And I fucking love football. It's my biggest passion. Like, honestly, I love football to bits.
You think you could go pro? In like Switzerland, maybe?
I mean, this one's a sticky one, isn't it? Because I guess it's all subjective. But Lord knows, like, when I played, I only started playing football, like, 11-a-side, yeah, when I was 16. Okay. So before that, all I played was street ball.
Up until 16?
Up until 16. That is why if anyone who played with me in the earlier parts of me playing 11-a-side, they would have told you that I was a selfish player, yeah.
Because that's what you got to be in street ball.
Because that's what you got to be in street ball. I didn't pass, and my finishing was always decent. It was always decent. I was always able to like score when I got into positions, but I didn't get into those positions well enough because I always thought as a 7-a-side player, 5-a-side player. I never thought as an 11-a-side player, making the runs in behind.
What was it like going from playing street ball to going and playing in an 11-a-side team and almost being held accountable by the rest of the players?
It was a huge change. I remember one of the most
mental change.
Well, like mentally, you got like be more aware. Like you almost need to like destroy everything you know and kind of rebuild.
Right.
Yeah.
While keeping the foundations of how to play football.
Exactly. So like you need to be more aware that you don't need to do everything on your ones. Which like in street football you pass as well. Don't get me wrong, but everything is you beat your man and that's your point. Once you beat your man, it's like a goal. Do you know what I mean? Like the goals are not that important when you're playing on the streets. It's the dribbling, the skill, the flair. That is what earns you the whoa. It's not you scoring a tap in that earns you all the like. So you're drunk of that feeling of murking someone, like destroying a defender.
Right.
So all I cared for when I first went on the 11-a-side pitch was I just wanted to disgrace the defender. That was my goal.
You just want to beat your man.
I just want to beat my man. So I beat my man. I'd have a chance to pass it off, but I'd see another man coming. So I'd say less. Why don't I keep going? So I'd beat my second man and then probably lose on the third time.
Right.
Or I'd be in a position where I could shoot.
You know what? That makes a whole lot of sense, right? Because I'd watch you in my third year when you were in your masters, or my second year, and I'd be like, why doesn't he pass? Why doesn't he pass? And so it's probably that mentality that falls into that. And because you've done it for so many years, it's just sort of it's ingrained in your psyche.
It's like it's taken. That year was the first. I think third year.
Yeah.
Like was the first year. I learned to pass a bit more. I had more
People
assists.
would understand the way you play if you just explain this to them.
Yeah.
Right. If anyone asks from now on, just be like, look, send them to Grudge Strike.
See, it's long. That's what I mean. Like, if you ask, you get the answer. If you want to make assumptions, you make assumptions. I'm not bothered. Like,
look, at some point I'll pass. Right. When the opens there,
I did pass, but I usually gave more obvious passes than like passes you expect me to make. But now, like my game completely, I'd say like it started changing at the end of the second year. I started changing to be more of a provider, you know. So my third year, like I had more assists than goals. I had 11 goals. I had like 14 or 16 assists that season. But that was because I was assisting more. Like I was trying to put people ahead of myself.
Okay.
And once I started doing that, it just opened up a whole different side of my game. Like, so now I honestly think I'm now an 11-a-side player. I didn't think I was an 11-a-side player through most of uni. I just thought I was like able to make it work because I'd beat my man, maybe score a screamer, you know. Like I'd keep people satisfied enough for them to think, yeah, he play 11-a-side. But within me, I knew like I was more of a 7-a-side player. Like that was what I had in mind.
Because I just learned a lot from football, like that's applicable to real life. Okay, so let me put it into context. We're dealing with people. Because you come across a lot of people in your football, I can imagine. Like a lot of people from different cultures, different backgrounds. You know, different types of players. You know what? I mean, this might sound a bit arrogant, yeah. But what it's taught me to kind of do is kind of like like when you first meet someone, yeah, you got like impose yourself on them in a way that is not like mean, but you got to like make sure you're not taking for a mug. When you're playing football, like in real, like that's how I've in real life. I'm nice to people, but like. If I meet someone and the person's vibe is a bit off, I reflect it back straight away. Because in football, yeah, like when you go and you start playing for a team, if like you're made to look like if you don't like carry like fight for yourself in it, and you're made to look like a dickhead on the pitch. Let's say you make a mistake or like everyone gets on your back. You know what I mean? Like or like. You let's say you have a particular thing you do constantly that someone like players might not like. It might become like a running joke where they always like bring it up on you. You know, like oh P doesn't pass or P doesn't do that. I mean, like you just need to make sure like you kind of set the pace, set the tone for how. So whenever I go to play, yeah, like if I'm playing for a new team or I'm trialing, I always keep it simple. Like I never try to do too much. Like if I get the ball, I pass it on. I beat my man, pass it. Even in shooting positions, I still pass it because I want them to know that I'm going to be a team player. When they realize I'm a team player, then if I can start being a bit more selfish because they realize I am a team player, but I'm just taking this risk because I thought I could get a goal at the end of it. So I can afford to like push the boundaries a bit more, but at least I'm established as a team player. And so you think that works for the dynamics of a relationship?
Yeah, like if you know like at base level how I am as a person, if I flop here and there 1 or 2 times, you're not gonna like your perception of me is not gonna do a complete 180. You will know like at least like he is this person at base level, and so like this is just like a glitch or just like a one-off thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Maybe I'm not like articulating properly, but that's one thing I've kind of like.
So what you're saying is that you want to kind of set a tone for the relationship, right? Like the relationship between you and that individual, whether it's in real life or, you know, in life or on the pitch.
Yeah.
And so what you like to do is you like to show that you're this individual that I'm here to play with you. I'm not here to play against you. I'm not selfish. I'm not going to take you for granted. But, you know, if you send me the wrong vibe, I'm going to show you that I'm a team player, but at the same
just ignore that.
But at the same time, I am willing to take the selfish action within the bounds of our relationship.
Basically. And I think it's important to just like it gives people like that, like safety net.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like at least you know me, and now that you know me, you can make informed decisions about my actions.
So you try and show them your flaws. Like you try to show them the whole of you.
I give them a snippet as much as like a snippet of the whole, you know,
rather than just one angle. Of
yeah.
Like, you know what? Actually, that's a real good. Like for me, when I was meeting new people, or I've met new people in the past, I'd show that snippet thing, but I'd show it of a perfectly curated version of myself, like the perfect image of Viraj. And what you say makes a lot of sense. You try and give them the whole of it, like as much as you can, in the smallest amount of time, and that way they can make informed decisions. That's quite cool.
And it sounds a lot more calculated than it actually is, but it's just,
but it's become,
it's just the way I am now. Yeah, like
it's just
if you didn't like me the first time you met me, you're probably never gonna like me. Like unless you met me when I was having a horrible shit day, like in the worst mood possible. I've definitely met. There's people I've definitely met on one of those days, and I've just been dicks to them, and it's not even like I'm intentionally trying to be a dick. I'm just not. Like I'm just not vibing. Yeah, exactly. But usually, like if you meet me, I try to be nice to people. Like it's not like try to be nice means I'm going against the grain, like trying to be nice. But I'm usually nice to people. I think that's just the way
we say it. You're just nice to people.
Yeah. I just like
instead of
I try to be polite, you know, respectful.
You are polite.
But if I don't get that back, I switch instantly.
Why?
Oh, it's just a thing. I give you respect, I get mine. If I don't get it back,
why? Because you feel that it's owed.
It's owed. It's respect isn't for free. It's not just something you go around handing to people, innit? That means if I've shown you respect, that means from what I've seen of you, I rate you. Yeah. But I don't, even if you don't rate me back, I expect you to be polite and show some level of decency. If you try and move a bit mad when I'm being respectful to you, do I look like a dickhead? You know, like.
See, I go for the opposite. I think in the past I would have mentally made that decision, not actively shown it. But now I try and go for, nothing in this life is owed, right? And it's one of the things I realized when I went away. Like friendships, relationships, people cool, people don't cool. But at the end of the day, I'm the one putting in this effort. Like, let's take our relation for example. I'll give you a call. But I don't expect a call back. I don't expect you to wake up and be like, yeah, let me feel this call from Viraj. If you want to, you'll pick it up. If you don't want to, fine. I'll ring you back because that's just the type of person I am. But if you wake up and you're in a shit mood, it's my job to realize that as much as it is for your job to also realize that actually, you know what, I'm being a dick right now. And so I kind of take the notion of nothing is owed, like respect isn't owed. It just so happens that we live in a society where it's supposed to be a baseline. And I get your point of view of, I do it, so you do it.
Yeah, but
like, it's what we're engaging in.
If you don't have that equal exchange of respect, then where does it start? Why should I meet someone new who I have no idea who is and have and be positive and like nice, and there is no need for that if there's no equal exchange of respect. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be nice to people. Everyone's just going to be a dick to each other. That's like, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
But then it'd just be normal, wouldn't it?
I guess so. But like, for me, it just.
I think you're a nice guy. Thanks. I had a good experience with you the first. When was the first? I was probably on a night out, wasn't it?
Yeah. Has to be. Yeah, like I'm never trying to be a dick to anyone unless I'm just reflecting stuff back to people. Like if I feel slighted, I'll reflect it back to you. Like in the sense that my vibe will just change.
Okay, so you talk about changing vibes. Do you think that you're a different person in a relationship than you are to a single, like without being in a relationship? Do you think there are two sides to Peter, or is it the same Peter, just it's amplified?
I've never thought about that. I've never thought like.
So why get into a relationship then? Like, why even have one in the first place?
Oh, it was just like all the stars aligned type of thing, innit?
That thing, okay.
Yeah, like I haven't said this to Alana. Like, I said,
she's finding out now.
No, I said it to her like right when we started dating,
right?
And I was like, I never thought I was gonna get into a relationship at all. Like, I was anti-relationship. I just thought,
really,
yeah. I just thought like I just want to just be single for
and
then get like one relationship and then like stick to that and then just get married or some shit, you know, like.
Yeah, I was
just,
kind
do
of
you get what I mean?
I was
like
kind of on that
it's just easier. I don't want to have to
vibe.
go through multiple relationships and breakups and then, do you get what I mean?
But I guess you grow as a person through that.
Yeah, no, you do, and this is
build up a tolerance
this is what I did not take into account. But like honestly, it was obviously a great 2 years. So yeah, like.
So did you enjoy those 2 years? Would you go back and not do it?
Nah, I still do it.
You still do it, even in the position of like the action that you took to be like, actually, you know what, this isn't going to work out for the future that we're going in.
Like I mean, it was probably 2 years of the most peace of mind I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, like, I mean, when you're in a relationship, you get another person there in it, and at the start, it doesn't seem that deep.
I've only been in two relationships, and they've both been for a short period of time, so I've never fully experienced the whole. I was too naive. So
basically, in the like, for me, the first like maybe 6 months of a relationship, it was just like I didn't feel like any difference. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel like
you as a person.
To me as a person, and then over time, it's just like there's that second person there that you're unconsciously like bouncing your thoughts off. You know, like, it's just, like, counsel for you, like, you're in trouble, they got your back. You know, like, you can put certain burden, like, on like, your partner that you can't do with your friends, innit? Like, that's just the way it is. Yeah. And you don't realise how much that does for you as a person till you don't have it anymore, you know? Like, then you're like, damn. But even at that point, even before we broke up, like, I was like it was, like, clear that the amount of times I've had, like BS issues, yeah, I need to pop to the hospital and then she's there with me, you know, like, you know, these things, like, it's just great to have someone, you know, that is just caring and like just takes care of you, has got your back,
is around,
and vice versa. Like, it was great taking care of someone else as well, like being the boyfriend. I never thought like being a boyfriend was gonna be like.
I don't think I've ever considered.
I thought it was just a title, innit? Like, but you need to actually like be there for the person, innit? You need to actually be like caring, you know, take care, do what you need to do for them. Present giving. I enjoyed buying presents. That's fun.
My brother likes buying presents.
It's just I really enjoyed buying presents. It was great because it was like we were always trying to like beat each other, you know, like
really,
yeah, one up each other. So on her birthday, I got an iPad. Yeah, with like this like 6 months into going out. So she reversed that. And she took me to Barcelona on my birthday.
That was only 6 months.
No, Barcelona was like a year after we started.
Oh, year after. Oh, she won up to you.
She fucked me over with that. Like, she really did.
I remember
because not only did she like take me to a different country and like basically pay for most of what we did there, her parents got me tickets to go see a Barca game. As a Barca fan, I'd never been to Camp Nou. People are gonna think, oh, why is he a Barca fan? But I don't need to be a Liverpool fan, a Chelsea fan. I wasn't born here. I don't owe any loyalty to any club. I pick a club. Ronaldinho is a god.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Ronaldinho drew me to Barcelona. The play style kept me there.
One of my favourite football players.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm not into football. I just remember watching the era of the kind of the Galacticos. You know, Beckham and Ronaldo. It's kind of when it was on TV.
Yeah, like it's just like, why not? You know, like, they're a great team, and this was before, I liked red as a kid as well.
Oh, so they used to play in red.
So I used to like Liverpool so much because they wore red, and my dad is a Chelsea fan.
Right.
So when Liverpool beat Chelsea, I was over the moon. I used to really like Liverpool. If there was like a team in the Premier League that I'm a fan of, I'd probably say it's Liverpool.
Right.
To be fair, because it got to a point where I even got Liverpool memorabilia. Like, my dad bought it for me. Yeah. Because he thought I was a Liverpool fan. Like, I loved watching Liverpool.
I was an Arsenal fan, but that was just because of my dad. I never really liked.
Yeah, like, I didn't understand what I was doing. I just liked the team that wore red.
Okay.
So I didn't exactly know how they played or anything. I just liked the team that wore red. So like, when I actually watched Ronaldinho play, I was like, how are they? It could have been Man United. It could have been Sheffield United. They wear some red. It could have been bare teams in this. It could be Bayern Munich. Yeah. Like, fortunately, we live in an English colony that obviously is like in love with the Premier League. Otherwise, it could have been any team.
So you went down the road to Barca.
I went down the road to Barca, saw Ronaldinho play. unbelievable player.
You saw him play?
Just watched him play.
Oh, watched him play.
Modeled my whole play style. That's why street football was such a draw to me. Yeah, because that's where like I could do all those tricks, you know, like the clever little tricks, the flair. That was all Ronaldinho type shit.
Muslim's got this thing, right, where he talks about Ronaldinho. He calls it the Ronaldinho effect, or can't remember the name he gave it, but it's basically, have you ever seen a photo of Ronaldinho when he's sad? Like looking down, you don't, because everything for him is like a bonus. You know,
apart from that time in the Paraguayan jail, my nigga was looking real sad there. I can't even lie.
Yeah. But everything else, like, you know, Messi kind of grew out of his shoes and into the player he was today. He was happy for him. You know, he lost the game and he was happy. Like, I was going through old photos, and he'd get injured, he'd still be happy. And
he's just high on life, you know, like, and you know what, Ronaldinho has to be like the mold for most players who make it from abject poverty, because he was so poor, and now that he's made it to this level, he's just happy that he can feed himself, take care of his family.
It all as well, hasn't he?
The
he's
wealth,
still happy. The wealth, yeah.
Oh, he can easily get that back. It's Ronaldinho. He can go into managing next week. Like, honestly, it's Ronaldinho. He's a legend. I don't think he could ever be without a job unless he wants to be without a job.
True.
So yeah, like I just became a Barca fan.
He's just a real incredible individual.
Yeah, unbelievable player. Like I remember watching like.
I actually watched highlights of El Clasico.
That goal he scored against Madrid. It was the 2004 season.
You remember the games?
Like I remember like watching the goal. Like he scored against. I think it was the one he took the shot from like 25 yards. It hit the crossbar, bounced down and went in. Such a sexy goal. Then like there's this one clip that kept circulating that I kept always seeing when it came to videos of Ronaldinho, and I remember it was such a big part of my childhood in football, because I kept trying to recreate this. So I think it was Ronaldinho, and it was against Bilbao. Like Athletic, it's like a La Liga,
La Liga.
And he was by the sidelines, and the ball comes to him. He chests it. It's in midair. There's a defender running at him. He lobs it over the defender. He goes, controls it again on his chest. Another defender's coming from his blind spot. He lifts it over that guy's head and then keeps going. Like, it's just the control in that move. He was dancing. He was like a puppet. He was a puppet master. He had everyone on strings.
He's a cool guy.
He had defenders on the ropes for days. So yeah.
Do you think we'll ever see another one like him?
Ronaldinho?
Yeah.
Probably.
You think? Like, if there is a footballer that's kind of modelled his game after him, like, who is that?
In today's era?
Today's game.
So the closest probably have to be Neymar.
Would it? Neymar?
Yeah. Neymar is the only person who.
As well, yeah.
But the difference between Neymar and Ronaldinho, as most, like, not just in terms of like as a player, is Neymar is too modern. He's too modernized. He goes for he wants to draw the fouls. Like, he wants to get people sent off. You know, he plays the game.
Okay.
Ronaldinho played the game. You know, he just wanted to play football. But it's there.
It's there.
So you follow Neymar, he rolls. He wants to get you a card.
When they playing the other day, and then he fell.
It's Neymar's staple piece now. And you know what's annoying about Neymar is because I'm such a huge Neymar fan. As you can imagine, I'm drawn to flair in players. So Neymar was the closest thing to Ronaldinho I'd seen, and so I was instantly smitten. I was a huge Neymar fan, I still am. But when he was at Santos, he was playing amazing football. He moved to Barcelona. First season was a bit off.
I forget he played for Barcelona.
Yeah, I was so happy he came to us. So happy. Then his first season was a bit off. He was, calibrating. Then he hits off. He's amazing for us.
But that's like anything, right? You put several superstars together. It's like in the NBA. You put several superstars together. They're not gonna work for
it's
around
Galacticos. Like,
that's a different breed. But
it's not. It doesn't mean you're gonna win everything.
It's like the NBA as well. It's like you put Bosch, D Wade, and Bron together in Miami, right? They didn't work out first year. There's way too many egos at play. You got three of the best players on the planet, all in their primes. Something that basically hadn't been done before, or to an extent hadn't been done before. Three of them. It's not going to work. It's not a God-given right to go into the prime.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, Neymar did do.
And then he moved to what, PSG?
He was. I think Neymar was a great, like, he was a great sportsman. Like, till maybe his third, fourth season in Barca.
Right.
Third season in Barca. How long was he there for? From 2013 to 2017, innit? So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5 years.
Okay.
So maybe his like third, fourth season, he became like this baby that people know, that the media know, like always trying to like just all rolling on the floor.
Neymar reminds me of Kyrie in a way.
I say I don't know anything about basketball, so I couldn't.
He's like this. He's not this guy, but when it comes to the media, it's always weird. I don't know. I guess Kyrie's misunderstood. I think Neymar's misunderstood.
I think Neymar could do a lot to help himself. That's why I have no pity for him. Because people hate the fact that you're always diving and rolling around. Then stop doing it. You don't need to roll 10 paces every time you get fouled. You can just like, sometimes you can foul, just get up and like keep them moving. You know, I never learned like that because I didn't go through like any formal football thingy. I never played for an academy. Like, I never learned diving, like, or simulation, you know, to get a decision off the ref. I just played honest football. You know, if I was the one the last person to touch it, I wouldn't raise my hand up and say it's ours. Do you get what I mean? Like, these are things you learn in the system, innit? But I feel like Neymar learned that properly in Europe because he wasn't getting enough protection from the refs, so it just warped him a bit. And now people don't want to recognize him as the third best player in the world because they think he's But I think in terms of ability, he's definitely the third best player in the world.
You talk about, you know, getting up and keeping going. The spot that you're in now, kind of the position that you are in as an individual. Talk to me about that.
It's a bit of a sticky one, isn't it? Because, like, as I said, the life of an international student is based on plans, months and years ahead of time. Like, you don't do spontaneous, you don't do last second. It's not a thing. You have to be prepared.
You can't build that in.
You cannot be spontaneous as an international student. Because as an international, let me just narrow this down a bit and say, as an international student from Africa, you know, you cannot afford to be spontaneous. You know, like, if I need to move somewhere or I need to go somewhere, I need to make sure I fit the criteria that'll make me eligible to move. I need to make sure like I've got like everything I need to be able to move to this place. I can't just up and move. I'm not a kid anymore where I moved with my mom.
Yeah,
so my mom will go get the diplomatic visa for herself, and because she has that diplomatic passport, by extension, I'm always good. You know, like the only time I ever had any visa rejections when I did it on my own.
Right.
Every time I went through my mom as a kid.
Can you not call mum and ask her? Or is there something else that comes into play there?
See, like, I don't get any benefits. She gets the benefits of being a diplomat. I don't.
So it's up until the age of 18.
Even before, like, I was only going as a dependent.
Yeah, so it's up until
21 21 in America, innit?
Okay.
So
up until you stop becoming a dependent.
Yeah, basically. So I can't. Yeah. She can't, and she needs to also be. She can't just go and if she went and applied for a visa. Yes. So take this for example. Say she went and applied for like let's say an American visa.
Right.
Yeah. Before she had to work there, by the way. This is like years ago. Just for holidays, she'd get it, but that doesn't mean I'd get it.
Agreed, because you're a different person.
Because I'm a different person, and she's going for like pleasure.
Agreed.
Tourism, whatever. But if she's going to work there, and that means she's moving there, then I would get it.
Yes.
But that all obviously changed when I went past 21. That went out the window, really.
So what? You're leaving the country on when? The 15th, 14th? So
I leave in a week. No, in less than a week, on the 14th.
I'm looking at this room, man. This ain't packed.
Bro, I have so much to sort out, like so much. But I leave, I go to Switzerland, I spend Christmas there. I'm back on the 5th.
Okay, cool. That's nice.
So here.
We'll get to catch up with you.
Yeah. And I'll be here till the 20th, I think.
Okay.
My visa is, it goes out at the end of Jan, so like 20,
so you have to be out of the country by then.
Yeah.
That's an official
thing,
right?
I had to either put an application for extension or leave.
Okay.
And I don't have the grounds for extension at the moment.
How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel that the system's kind of come to an end? Oh, it's kind of playing against you now.
I think the system really just fucks internationals. It's a system of like gaining, giving nothing in return, really. Like, I don't think there's one single thing that the government or the system has done to make internationals, to help internationals out. Like, we don't get any. We pay 16,000 upwards, 14,000 to up to 18,000 pounds a year for tuition fees. That's not including accommodation and like upkeep and all that stuff. You know,
that's just
tuition fees.
Just tuition. And you can't take out any loans, can you?
No loans. We can't take out any loans.
You
don't
take
get
any
any
in your country, in your country
well,
of residence.
through the government, maybe, yeah. But you can't.
But you wouldn't do that.
Exactly. So like, you can't take out any loans. You can't do any of that. So where does that leave you? You know, like, you're here. You're here for what? How many years doing education? Till recently, they only gave you 4 months at the end of your course to find a job in the UK, and now you're thinking, 4 months. That's not too bad. Bro,
I've been searching for about 4 months for a job.
But you're thinking at least you get 4 months to find a job.
I guess so.
It could be worse.
My first thought.
However, when you look at the barriers they put in those 4 months, you realise that from the beginning they've never wanted you to stay after you're done. So that's
really interesting.
There's 3,000
because the narrative is we want the people that come to our country to stay. We want the people that come to study at our universities to stay, because you get a brain drain from other countries, right? Like, the economics of it would make sense.
That's I don't know.
The system does not like that.
I'm gonna go through the barriers with you right now. Yeah. So the first barrier really is sponsorship.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
There's 3,000 companies in the UK that can sponsor you.
Is that official 3,000?
Official free.
So there's like a list?
There's a list.
Oh, wow.
There's a list. 3,000 companies in the UK, organisations, companies, whatever, that can sponsor you to get a tier 2 visa, which is like a working visa.
Understood.
Yeah? So now you finish as a graduate, you can't apply to any job that you're qualified for. You need to apply to a job from this company. That means all the graduates, all the international graduates are all like going to the same companies.
Into 3,000.
3,000 companies.
Which are respective, and then you've got an X amount that you can do on your course.
In every field, by the way, in every field. So ranging from like tech.
Oh wait, so 3,000 across fields?
Across fields.
Oh wow.
So it's not just 3,000 for like, for this field, or 3,000, no, 3,000 across fields. And then, so they need to sponsor.
Is the British government on that list, just by any chance?
I don't remember seeing anything about that. So that's the first barrier, yeah?
Okay.
Now you need to go through, there's going to be maybe like 500 international students applying to the same company for the same spot, yeah? Secondly, when you now get that spot, it has to be an entry-level role. Like, I can't just like, say I knew someone who owned a company, yeah? And he had a managerial position open. I couldn't just go and start working that. I'd have to start from an entry-level role. So I'd have to start like as a graduate.
Okay.
That's the only way.
So the equivalent of whatever a graduate
exactly,
role is. Okay.
Exactly. That's it. So, and you need to be paid a certain amount, which is like 26 grand, I think.
Really?
Yeah, you have to be paid a certain amount. So you have to negotiate. So let's say you get offered 24 grand on a graduate level role in a company that can sponsor you.
That's on the list.
If they're not paying you £25,600, you're going to get that visa rejected. So you need to make sure you negotiate to that price.
That's crazy.
It goes on. Trust me, it goes on. Thirdly, for you to get that spot, that means every British national that has applied to that must be less qualified than you are.
Yeah, because they want to take British people
first.
Got it.
And then finally, there's a cap for the amount of people that can get a tier 2 visa every year.
So there's a cap on the total.
On the total, which is like 20,000 people, if I remember correctly. So if you're
how many international students are there in the UK? More than 20,000.
No, honestly. So like, say I'm the one person after that 20,000, I get my visa rejected, even if I fulfill every other thing. So there's so many barriers in 4 months. You want me to get all that done in 4 months? Impossible. It's simply impossible unless you're doing tech.
The second you touch
or like medicine or unless you're doing a really high skill.
So medicine would be a different type of
process. Obviously, like when you're doing something really high skill and really like specialized, then you're good.
But you've got 2 masters, man.
Yeah, but like one's in international relations, one's in geopolitics and security. You're like government. like humanitarian organization type things. Like it's not what the UK is especially really strong for.
Humanitarian jobs.
Yeah, exactly. If this was like Geneva,
you'd be different.
I'd feel I'd be in a stronger situation than someone who did tech. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
But the UK humanitarian organizations, not that many, and then of the 3,000, there's not going to be that many either.
So what's the plan? Like, I know you go away to Switzerland for a while.
I'll go to Switzerland for a while.
And then you're going to New York after that.
No, I'm going to go to Nigeria.
Nigeria after that.
After that. And then I'm going to hopefully go to New York.
Based on the visa.
Based on the visa. So I can spend summer with my mom. Because
how do you feel? Like, you're going on this... I call it to you a journey. Like, you're going to go on the equivalent of what I did. It's just that you're going to be bouncing around a lot. How do you feel going into it?
I can't lie. It's a scary thing. Like, this is going to be the first year of my life that I've not had a plan. Every time things have fallen apart in the sense that this was my plan for the year, but that's fallen apart. I've always had a new plan straight away.
But it's a plan you can control, right? This one, we were talking earlier, but you were saying that this one is based on so many factors that you can't control, i.e. visas. Like, you've got to fulfill the criteria to the best possible kind of level, and then whatever happens.
Happens, yeah. Like I have no like control at the moment. Like I literally do not know what could happen. I could be back here in September. That's the obviously the first choice.
Yeah.
Because of all the countries I've lived in, been to whatever, the UK, perfect for me. Like everything about it just suits me. Like I love Switzerland as well, don't get me wrong, but
I'm
the language barrier, like I lived in the German speaking part, not the French speaking part.
German one ain't the one.
Yeah. So
the Italian speaking, like down south, that's nice.
Yeah, I guess so. I've never really been there either. I've never been there to be fair.
I stopped on my road trip. We did the Stelvio Pass, and so that kind of delved into Italy, and then you went back into Switzerland, right? I enjoyed it down there. We stopped for lunch, and it was just a nice place, like a nice feeling. I know, to an extent, I know what you're going through, or what you're about to go, the journey you're about to go on. Like, it's difficult. We talked on the phone before this, and I said to you, I get to do it by choice. You don't have a choice. So, to an extent, I can empathise, but bro, like, it's gonna be tough. Like, mentally, it's gonna be tough on you. And I know it sucks. I know it seems like the world is falling apart, but just keep tunneling through the chalk and not the bedrock.
You seem to be the only person in this room at the moment who believes I'm not in bedrock.
There's only two.
I'm already in the outer core of the earth. You're talking about bedrock.
Falling like, through the end of the Minecraft.
Literally,
thing, right?
like I'm fucking. This is probably one of those like cliche, the only way is up type of things, isn't it? Like
but it really is, man. Like it really is. Just look after yourself.
It's just, like
treat it as a journey. Treat it as like a game, right? You've got to get through Switzerland. That's a month, and then after Switzerland, you've got to make the position that you're in slightly better. How do you do that? I don't know. You have the answers, and you just just chunk it like that. That's kind of what I'd say. Because with me, it's like I was riding a high after my road trip. Right, you get to India and you're kind of high seeking when you're going on all these trips, and then in between you're like, oh, what am I doing with my life? And then you kind of step outside of the bubble and you're like, wait, I'm in India. I'm not in the UK. I've got to live life slightly differently. I can't be the same person. You're going to go on this mental journey of yours, and you're going to go on not just mental but physical journey, and it's going to be more than just kind of another year. I think for you, you're going to come back and you're going to be a slightly different person. And we'll do another one when you get back, and we'll do another one if we can during. And it's going to be interesting to see you grow and kind of see your take on life.
I really, like, I mean, I could either come like in the best mood ever, telling you like the craziest like story of the year gone, or I could just be like, bro, it's been a year from hell. And the way things are going, it's looking like the latter more than the former. Like.
But you know what? It will be a story to tell.
Shit. I would have just been happier not telling any stories at all for the year and just having a basic calm year. Like,
you just want to go back to that first night drinking, put the Bacardi in the pint glass and just knock it back.
honestly, I find myself thinking about like time travel.
Really, it's got that deep.
If time travel existed, I'd be out of 2020 right now, and so would most people out there. To be fair,
most people would.
But like, I'd go back to maybe. I wouldn't even go back to like start uni. I'd probably go back to like
2016.
No. 2016 was uni as well. I'd probably go back
2016 was uni for you.
Probably go back to
2014, 2015.
Maybe when I was 11.
11. Nah, I didn't have my glow up then. I couldn't have.
It's not about the glow up. I would have tried everything possible to.
I would have said 16. I was relatively good looking then. I had hair.
You're luckier than the novice, isn't it?
Relatively good looking. You know what? I went as a kid. I wasn't the nicest person, I think, to my brother.
You weren't.
I was not the nicest person. You know, I was talking to Muslim about it the other day. I went through this old photo file, digital photo file. So it's just a bunch of photos and videos from like 1997 to 2000. It was on the podcast, right? And I was looking back at how I acted towards my brother, and I was like, you were not a nice person. It's the way you'd cut him off, or the way I'd cut him off. I wasn't nice to him. And granted, there are a lot of factors that play into that. Looking back, knowing what I know, I had to speak for him, or I ended up speaking for him for a certain number of years growing up, and then he became his own person. I kept going with that, speaking for him, thinking I knew what he was thinking. But yeah, I wouldn't go back to 11.
The only reason I'll go back to 11, is a bit ridiculous, but I feel like if I went back to 11 right now, I'd be a pro player.
And on that note, we're going to end the show. No, it's you know what? That's a great point to leave it at. That's just cherry on the cake. No, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. I've had a lot of fun.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been awesome. I guess this wraps it up.
You're like it clarifies for people who don't really understand why like I did 2 masters. Just geography was shit. I'm changing to a new field. Because I changed to a new field. All undergrad went to waste, so now these 2 masters are my new undergrad. Really, like
this guy really just wanted to live out uni for another 2 years. That's all it was. Like,
BS. Don't let anyone lie. That's BS. That's BS.
Didn't I see you in the SU like every other night on Snapchat?
But I was still acing my grades.
It's been a pleasure. And I'll see you soon. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
All right.